Languages channel. I'm really glad you're here today. If you haven't yet, please do hit the subscribe button. We dedicate this channel to everything around personality and belonging. Sometimes we share a little bit about our prototyping and things like that. So today I want to talk about Ruby Franke. And I'm going to talk about some of the words she spoke. So I'm going to reference a few things. I talk a lot about this because we really need to be able to understand each other. And this is part of creating community and healthy community. So some of the references I use are I really like what the Tao says. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your destiny. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And Proverbs is as a person thinks in their heart, so they are. So I was listening to Ruby Franke say something, and she said, I don't do naughty things. I'm a good girl. And I thought that's strange. We don't normally talk like that. That sounds like a little kid. And so I had to go back and I had to rewind and hear more of where that came from. Because again, we're always speaking who we are and what we need. Is that we're not trained how to listen to this. You see, we have body language experts out there because they're listening to the patterns. We have to also listen to the patterns as well. Why did she go into little girl mode at that time? So, to understand her better and understand what's going on, I went and listened to what was before that. So, what was before that is she was talking to a gentleman, and a gentleman was telling her what was going to happen in her case. And then she said, yes, God told me while I was driving. I was like, no, God, don't take away my kids. And then she said, Satan has taken everything away from me, and I'm a good woman. I don't do naughty things. I'm a good girl. And then she took a breath and then went back into adult conversation. So here's the transition. She's talking about God, Satan. All of a sudden she goes back and she's an adult at this time, goes into little girl voice, and she stays a little girl for a little bit longer and then goes back into grown up. So as I was listening to that, I thought about what happens when we're going to church as people and what kind of brainwashing happened to this woman. And brainwashing happens in a lot of churches. We hear that Satan is always around the corner and he's ready to get you at any point. We hear to blame Satan for all the bad things that happen in our lives and not to take responsibility. Responsibility is the ability to respond. And so, what she learned, and the reason she went into little kid, was because there was a part of her that was taught to be scared of Satan. He was lurking around every corner with his little minion demons to get her and to take everything from her, and that she didn't have to have any responsibility for any of her actions because Satan was the one to blame. Now, Satan wasn't the one who tied up her children. Satan wasn't the one who starved her children or didn't give her children liquid to drink. It was Ruby. It wasn't Satan. And as long as we play the blame game, or as long as she plays the blame game, there's not going to be any sort of, it will be really hard to restore or heal. It's just not going to happen. She's never going to be able to see that what she did was wrong. She's not going to be able to face it. And believe me, this would be hard to face as a parent. Uh, well, what she did was wrong. Absolutely horrible, horrific stuff. I don't understand that. I just don't. But I can have a clearer understanding with all the brainwashing that went on and her going into child mode because of that spiritual stuff and then going back into adult mode. There was a lot of brainwashing that went on. You see, what happens is when we start to go down those paths, we can, she allowed herself to continue to be brainwashed. And there's other things that went on with her, what she spoke. And I've researched some of the things that she spoke that led her to attract certain people in her lives because of what she wanted in her life. She wanted to be famous, and she was willing to do what it took at all costs, even the cost of her children. And this whole thing of spare the rod, spoil the child. Well, when you think of a rod or a stick, what else is a stick good for? What is a walking stick good for? Think of a walking stick on a path. You're not beating yourself with a stick on a path. It's a guiding tool. It is a tool to make sure when you think of shepherds with sheep, to bring the sheep back into the flock, not to beat them. It is totally, oh my gosh, people that use that to beat their children, it's like men who use sayings like women submit to your husband, but then they don't look at men should love their wives before that. And they use that to beat their wives. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you take that out of context. You can take anything out of context to make it be what you want it to be to abuse people. You know, it comes down to we have to start, all of us have to learn how to take responsibility for our actions. And when there is behaviors there, learn how to rewire ourselves. But our words always are showing our processes, our thought patterns, and how we perceive things. If it wasn't, there would not be body language experts out there that can read these patterns. There just wouldn't be. So, on that note, I just wanted to dive into this a little bit deeper so people understood that and could pick this apart a little bit. I pick apart processing and the words people speak, and I don't do it in a judgmental way. I really hope that Ruby finds a way to see this and finds a way to forgive and tell her kids that she forgive herself and tell her kids that she's sorry and asks her kids to forgive her. I mean, I hope her kids are able to get restoration and healing for all the trauma they went through. I am just, I mean, I hope so. That it just breaks my heart that has happened. Uh, I am sharing this so that we can start breaking apart what people are saying so we can protect ourselves, or that we can see patterns that we're doing in our own life that is unhealthy so that we can heal and create the destinies and the relationships and friendships we want so that we can have a healthier world and healthier communities. So on that note, I hope that this was very helpful for you. And I hope you tune in next time, and do please subscribe so that you can learn more about this and check out our other products and things. And I will leave a link to her video on that. There will be an article with this, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.